Hey guys, we found this really nice plywood at the local co-op. It's quite a bit cheaper than the regular construction grade plywood that we found. This stuff is oak veneer plywood, so it's not solid oak, but the outside is oak, which is allowing us to give a really nice look to some of the beams and joists that are going to be visible from the inside, mostly on the roof. So if you look at it from the side, it actually has regular softwood innards, but we're either going to paint that or add a veneer on top of it. But the oak itself is really nice, and the fact that it's so smooth and of such consistent thickness makes it a lot easier to make the joists and curved beams. We were really finding when making the joists that it was hard to insert the web into the cap because of how irregular a lot of plywood's thickness is, but this stuff is just a dream to work with.
These roads intersect, on each one I reflect. These lines write my story. These places change me, each one replacing. Like night into morning, I miss the open air, the going anywhere, riding with you like we used to. Guess I'm better off alone, never know when I'll get home, but I know that home's where the heart is. Guess I'm better off this way, moving to better days, but I know that home's where the heart is. Home's where the heart is. The endless journey, I need not worry, I'll get where I'm going. I made it this far, beyond where you are, and I'll keep on growing. I miss the open air, the going anywhere, riding with you like we used to. Guess I'm better off alone, never know when I'll get home, but I know that home's where the heart is. Guess I'm better off this way, moving to better days, but I know that home's where the heart is. Home's where the heart is.
I did for curving the roof beams. The construction of these roof beams is using a glue lamb design, which is where I use veneers of wood and glue in between them, push them into the shape and hold them there, and then when the glue dries, it pops out of the jig in that shape. Now, I'll show you guys me disassembling it, and you'll see that it keeps most of its shape. Usually there's a little bit of retreating, but generally it's pretty good.
Shine bright up all night, we're never slowing down. Fall in love, drunk mistakes, we're bound to hit the ground. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. And we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like
And now for the parts that will cooperate, we'll use a hammer.
we got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. And we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this.
And here, my friends, is the finished component.
Wow.
It feels like it probably weighs about like 5 pounds. It's not extremely light. It will lighten up a bit as the glue dries, and this is what will form the roof beams. So guys, a lot of people are asking, why are we doing a curved roof rather than just a regular steepled roof? There's a few reasons, and the reasons that I'm telling everybody is that it increases the amount of internal volume that we have for a roof design that is able to shed rain. We could do a flat roof, obviously, and have lots of internal volume. It wouldn't shed rain. But for the internal volume, rain shedding ability, and total height, which we're limited at to go on Canadian highways, the curved roof is probably one of the best ideas. You can imagine that to have usable headroom in the curved roof, that it doesn't have to be that high. Whereas for a steepled roof, to have usable space at the corners, the roof needs to be really quite high. So this is sort of like a steepled roof, except it kind of flattens out a bit at the top, giving you more usable internal space. So those are the reasons that we're telling everybody. But the real reason is that I saw a video about glue lamination construction, where you cut veneers of wood and then bend them into a jig with glue in every layer. And then it sets up in the shape that you desire. And I found it really cool. And also we want to have some of those unique touches on our tiny house that will separate it from other people's designs. And we thought a curved roof would really set it apart. So that's the real reason. So guys, glue lamination was a new technique for me, and we encountered some interesting difficulties while doing it, including that as we released the pieces from the jig, we had different levels of retracting from the jig. All of the pieces retracted somewhat, at least probably ½ inch most of them, but some of them retracted 1 inch, and on some of our worst ones they even retracted a couple of inches. We don't exactly know why, but we really rushed through the glue lamination in order to produce the 20-some roof joists that we had to build in a reasonable amount of time. Ideally, in order to have wood glue set up to its full structural strength, you would want to have 24 hours for it to set up. Instead, we limited that to ½ an hour to achieve most of its strength, and we used screw fasteners to increase the clamping pressure on the joint for the rest of the time that it sets up outside of the jig, and also to prevent layers, the laminates, from shearing within each other. Because in order for this piece to straighten out, it would really need to slide the veneers against each other in order to flatten out, and by having screws in there, it has a harder time doing that. However, we did have different amounts of retraction, and so some of our roof curved beams are less bent than the other ones by about 1 inch at their peak. So for those ones, we were thinking about perhaps pre-stressing them and using them for different applications, or for using them for our curved rear of the truck. We shall see as we go along, but we figured we'd mention some of the drawbacks that we had with this technology, which is that it was a little bit inconsistent.
Young blood made of gold, a mind you can't control. Running wild, can't come down, my head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep
Nice.